Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. Beautiful day here in Blackstone, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world. So the title of this talk is The End of Choice. And basically it was, I got the stimulation from a breakfast conversation about shredded wheat. And we were having some shredded wheat, but shredded wheat comes in little tiny biscuits now, and we were remembering when it was a big biscuit, and it was Nabisco shredded wheat, and my wife remembered the corporate ditty. I can't think of it right now, but anyway, you don't get the big shredded wheat now, except maybe in England, but here it all comes and it's been chopped up into little bits, and I thought, well, it's kind of like the Eucharist, they're kind of like little wafers for the Mass, your little bite-sized shredded wheat, so this has been kind of like my working metaphor for the morning, in how our culture, we all remember like the original product, and then in Hurt Locker, did you see that movie? One of the great scenes in Hurt Locker was when the soldier comes back from Iraq. He's a bomb deconstructor, and he just deals in life or death, and very simple life, very simple, no choice, life or death. There is no choice when it's life or death, you realize, because you can't choose death. In other words, if you choose death, you don't know if you chose it. So there's just life. You see what I mean? So, but our culture thrives on choice. We believe that the more choices you have, the more freedom you have. I mean, this is very obvious if you look. Well, I need a choice. Well, healthcare, have the one Medicare. No, I want a choice. We must have choices. Well, what choices do I have? You see. But that it's like a butcher. A butcher with the cleaver. You got a butcher block there, and you start out with the whole cow. And he keeps chopping that sucker up into parts, categories, names, and forms, you see. And he keeps chopping it up into smaller bits, like the shredded wheat. You start out with a big shredded wheat, and you keep chopping it up into choices. Now you got a bowl. Instead of having a bowl with one shredded wheat, you just eat that. Now you got a whole bunch of little shredded wheats. Well, should I eat this one or that one? And so getting back to the Hurt Locker, so the soldier comes back from Iraq and he goes to the market to get some cereal, and the famous scene, he's standing there and there's a canyon of choices. You go to Walmart, you see what I mean? It's a whole aisle of choices, you see, a canyon of choices. And you can go there and find the original Cheerios, the original, and all these cereals started with one. But for some reason, one is not one, we have to find the one through choices. Well, you need to have a choice. Which one? Divide the one into two. Well, this one is better than that. I'll choose that, you see. And so getting back to my little morning metaphor with the ditties, I thought, well, I said this was the beginning of the branding of the child with the cereal. And remember, all the cereal used to come with, I guess still does, comes with toys and games and puzzles and things. And so they sell the cereal to children, and then I had that and it wasn't, so you need more choices. So they keep dividing the cereal into more and more choices, you see, until you end up with a canyon of choices. And our Hurt Locker hero, the soldier, who just deals in no choice, you're alive or dead, you see, very simple, couldn't choose. There's so many, which one? So he just grabbed one and threw it in the basket and walked out, So I guess the point I'm making here is that we live in a culture that divides the original shredded wheat into infinite numbers of smaller bites. And it keeps on going because we believe that whatever you choose isn't satisfying. You need another choice. The reason we keep getting the proliferation of choice is because nothing is satisfying. So if nothing is, why is it not satisfying? because it's been water chopped up. The original has been destroyed through the proliferation of choices, using shredded wheat as a metaphor, or cereal as a metaphor, you see. So we're ended up in a very watered down way of life. And the only way out, we think, is to have more choices, which means to water it down more. And you can kind of see this metaphorically if you look at the evolution of our products and our brands. You know, you start out with one soap and then you end up with 1,000 different choices, different flavors. You get one yogurt and you end up with a whole store full of different flavors, you know, and they keep on coming. The proliferation of choices waters down life and makes choice empty. You reach a point where, you know, it's you know, it's just you realize that whatever you choose is not going to be satisfactory. And that's the beginning of Zen. That's when Zen is the beginning of the great doubt, where you stop believing that more choices is going to give you permanent satisfaction. And you begin to see that the proliferation of choices divides the world instead of uniting it. You see, you can't unite the world with a choice. Now, the butcher cannot put the cow back together with a cleaver. The butcher cannot put the cow back together with the cleaver of choice. But we believe it. I mean, our culture works on that, and it's good for the economy. Our economy works on that principle because our economy is based on having the artificial need for new products. I learned a lot from my uncle Robbie he was born in First World War, and of course he's dead now, but I lived with him for a while. And he was from a generation, a way of life where you bought a hammer, you kept it for the rest of your life. You bought a car, you kept it until it fell apart. You kept your original tools, took care of them, and you didn't keep buying new tools. Where I'm always into, well, it's a little worn, throw it out, let's buy a new one. So, you know, the Disposable Society is a society created by more choices. Every Christmas is coming now, and the choices we're going to be in a deluge, a flood of choices to make us buy something that we don't need, or buy something that someone else doesn't need because it's newer than what they got. But when you really look at the function of something, it's the same, you see. So it's interesting to look into this and just to see what's going on, because it creates our head, you know, it messes up our head, because with the proliferation of choices, we have the proliferation of thinking. Thinking is choosing. I think I should do that. No, I should have done that. Well, maybe if I do this. The thinker. I'm thinking about which is better, you see. Choice is always about calculation, weighing. Well, what do you want? Well, let me weigh it. This is about 3 ounces better than the other. I'll take that. Yeah. It's all about weighing, calculation. And all of that is based on me. You know, what benefits me, you see. So this basically is a belief that I need to be better through more choices. If I had more choices, I would be freer. The whole political system is working, you know, particularly on the right, freedom of choice, you see. And on the left too, both are operating under the principle that any new, you have to have choices, because choices makes you feel free. So if you're in a prison, the terror of prison would be to have absolutely no choices. You see. So maybe in prison you might have one. Well, maybe I could choose coffee or tea. Oh, you see. So if I have just one choice is all I need, because I need just one choice in order to be me. Just one choice, you see. If I had no choices, who am I? I'm not the chooser. I can't choose, you see. And that creates a panic attack when I can't choose, and we go to a therapist or become an alcoholic, you see, in other words, because that having a choice, you see, is the last thread of me, my power to choose. That's why we love shopping. Go out and shop, you get to choose. Oh, I want that. No, I don't want that, you see. So we feel a little bit down, we feel a little bit powerless, we feel out of control. I go shopping. Or I buy, let me buy. We all do that, I feel better, I bought something. And then I either use it or don't use it, but it's never permanently satisfying. You see, there is no permanent satisfaction in choices. You can't choose permanent satisfaction. You can only choose temporary satisfaction, which creates the need for another choice. And that keeps our economy going, you see, cranking out new choices. We outsource to China. China pours choices in, it's like if China disappeared, everything in Walmart would go. Unbelievable. And it's all based on generating another the illusion of choice, you see. So it's all living in the future. It's all living in the choice is about the future. I'll be better in the next moment, or in a few moments, or in an hour, or in a week, however long it takes for the article to get here. That so there's this, so the choice, and then when you get it, there's the release of the tension that's created by not having what you chose, and then there's the momentary pleasure. Oh, I got it. I just ordered some new indoor house boots, and so I'm waiting now for Amazon to deliver. Will it come today, you see? So there's a little tension there. Then I'll get it and I'll put it on, and now what else can I buy on Amazon? What else do I need? Oh, maybe this, you see. And so it goes. So Buddhism, Zen, in any mystical tradition, is the way of the choiceless choice, discovering your original self that is prior to choice. Am I good or am I bad? Do you like me? Do you don't like me? This division, it's the end of the butcher, the cleaver of choice. You see, there's no choice in your original self, in your original mind, in your original being. You just are. There's no choice in that. You just are alive. There's no choice in that, you see. But as soon as we feel something is lacking, as soon as we feel a little self-loathing, a little doubt, who am I? Well, we got to choose ourselves. And then we are enrolled in the giant choosing machine of consumer culture. And we don't get out of that until we get into a hospice care. Thanks for dropping in. Have a Zen Fit today.